Cracking the Code of Commercial Success, the Techniques Behind Winning Ad Pitches, presented by John Michael Versosa. Here are the learning objectives of this topic. Students will be able to identify the key elements of a successful ad pitch, understand the importance of research and strategy in the pitch process, learn techniques for effective storytelling and presentation, and lastly, be able to analyze examples of winning ad pitches. For our quote of the day, we actually have two of them. First, from Bruce Barton. According to him, in good times, people want to advertise. In bad times, they have to. And secondly, from Philip Kotler. According to him, the best advertising is done by satisfied customers. Before we start this topic, I would like you to think of your favorite commercials or ad campaigns. What are they, and what makes these ads memorable and effective? Now, what is an ad pitch? Also known as an advertising pitch, it is a technique used to present a brand's products or services in the best possible way, usually through a brief story. But how brief is a brief story? Right now, in the context of TikTok and other forms of social media, the acceptable time is 30 seconds to a minute. Our discussion will be divided into three parts. First, we have the key elements of a winning pitch. Next, we have research and strategy. And lastly, we have storytelling and presentation techniques. For the first part of our topic, we will discuss the key elements of a winning pitch. And here, I used a mnemonic. So what is a mnemonic? It aids or is designed to aid the memory. It makes it easier to remember all the crucial parts of the information. So pitch, in 5 letters, it consists of the 5 steps to represent the elements of a winning ad pitch. And for letter P, we have problem solver. For letter I, we have inspire an action. For letter T, we have tailor it to the audience. For letter C, it means concise or be quick and to the point. And lastly, for letter H, we have heart, which means to be passionate. For the first step, we have problem solver. Now, everything starts with a problem, including ad pitches. So we have to identify a problem that exists and what are the solutions that we have in order to help solve that specific problem aforementioned. You have to emphasize the importance of thorough research into the client's brand, the target audience, and the specific marketing objectives in order to do so. Next is inspire an action. It is important to have an end goal that you know what direction you are heading. Explain that the pitch should present a unique and creative idea that addresses the client's needs in order to stand out from the competition. Getting that next step or inspiring a positive action is the most critical component of an effective pitch. The third step is letter T, tailor it to the audience. Make sure you have done your research. Know who you are talking to, what their goals might be, and why what you have to say is important. part of knowing what is important to them is also asking good questions. Highlight the benefits of the agency's proposed solution and how it will help the client achieve their goals. For the fourth step, we have letter C. It is concise, or be quick and to the point. Discuss the power of narrative in engaging the client and making that said idea memorable. By tailoring it to them and solving a problem that they have, you will be able to keep their attention and inspire into taking action. And lastly, we have letter H, which stands for heart. Be passionate. The heart never lies. Passion is contagious. Be passionate about what you're selling, whether you're selling yourself or your product. Show them why it's important and why they should care. Always be authentic and remain a professional. Here are examples of ad pitches in the local setting. One is the Unilab, no? Wherein they presented the Alagang Unilab. And these commercials or advertisements have captured Filipino hearts as well. Okay? May kalidad, Unilab yan. Another is, of course, the Jollibee ads, no? uh, especially with the sad stories, because they reflect Filipino society, no? Whether individually or the entire household. We can all relate to the ads that they have shown to us, whether it's a long commercial like 2 to 3 minutes or even just a brief 30 to 30-second to 1 minute ads. And of course, Milo, they did their energy gap advertisements, and they also showcased Filipino, no, especially young athletes, children who excel in their sports. The target market, of course, are Filipino kids, no, and also the moms that who purchase the Milo products. The second part of our topic is research and strategy, and it is further subdivided into four parts. First, we have to do the client research, then doing the target audience research. Third, of course, is the competitive analysis, and lastly is strategic thinking. For client research, we have to discuss methods for gathering information about the client, such as analyzing their website, social media presence, and past campaigns. We have to get to know the target better because they are, in a way, our customers. And the customer is always right, but we have to find the right customer. Get to know them as much as possible because you will be dealing with them for a long period of time. So getting to know these elements, the website, social media presence, and past campaigns will help you further improve your ad pitches successfully. For the target audience research, it is important to explain the importance, the understanding, demographics, psychographics, and behaviors of the client's target audience. Try to pinpoint whatever you can find about this target market. Do they fit their uh, customer's buyer persona, for instance? Are they targeting the right audience, or there is a certain gap between the company and the target audience? If you do so, if you find some so-called problems along the way, you will be able to pivot your way towards targeting the correct target audience for the company's products and or services. Okay, for the third step, we have competitive analysis. Well, what do you have to do here? You must have to identify the client's direct and indirect competitors using research to identify opportunities for differentiation, as well as emphasize their strengths and weaknesses in comparison to you. In order to be able to do so, you must complete and perform first the competitive profile matrix. In this competitive profile matrix, we have the critical success factors revolving in your company's industry. So for example, if your company is a hotel, no? So what are the critical success factors of the hotel? So you have to identify a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 10 in order to do so. Okay? So uh, put at least two direct competitors and two indirect competitors as well. So in total, you have four competitors. And then you have to force rank it. So there will be five companies in the competitive analysis, including your company. And then you will be able to identify which company has the slight advantage over the other. So you'll be able to know which is the market leader in the direct competitor as well as the indirect competitor. Then next, after that, we have to go towards the external forces. And able to do so, you must be able to identify the PESTEL. And the PESTEL stands for political, economic, sociocultural, technological, environmental, and legal forces. So these PESTEL forces are usually beyond our control. No? So they are external factors, so to speak. And from these external factors, they can be classified either as an opportunity or as a threat for your organization. And after doing so, you will be able to generate the EFE or the external factor evaluation matrix, uh, which consists of the company's opportunities and threats. So it's the first half of the SWOT matrix. And lastly, you have the um, weaknesses and strengths. So there are many ways to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the company. First, you can also use the competitive uh, analysis, wherein the scores that you have gathered higher, let's say a 5 or 4, or a 4 or 3, will be classified as strengths, and the bottom half will be considered as the weaknesses, which is generally 2 and 1. Okay? So from that, you will be able to gather your strengths and weaknesses part of the SWOT matrix. You can also do so through the McKinsey 7S, no? But focusing mainly on marketing and operations using the competitive analysis will suffice. Okay, strategic thinking is simply an intentional and rational thought process that focuses on the analysis of critical factors and variables that will influence the long-term success of a business, a team, or an individual. So in this case, it's more of an organization or firm. In strategic thinking, discuss how the research findings should inform into the development of a clear and effective advertising strategy. So here are two examples of excellent marketing campaigns. First, we have Dove, Real Women, Real Beauty. Before doing this ad pitch, actually Dove conducted a study of interviewing 3,000 women in 10 countries. And among those 3,000 women, only 2% of them actually said that they consider themselves beautiful, no? Which is unfair, no? So to speak. No? So doing this ad campaign of Dove, they were able to empower women, no? This campaign challenged every stereotype in the personal care industry, all while resonating with their audience. It gave women the confidence in themselves that they are beautiful. Not just selling the product, no? But the product believes in the people who use them. On the flip side, Old Spice did the exact opposite of Dove. No? So their ad campaign is the man your man can smell like. Okay? So Old Spice uses humor this time around, no? To make it a little bit more lighthearted. To draw in their audience and position their brand as the outstanding choice for male hygiene products. And if you will notice, if you will be able to watch these ads of Old Spice, they're generally not that long. No? Typically 30 seconds to just below a minute. And the last part of this topic is storytelling and presentation techniques. So we have three here. First is the power of storytelling. Second is creating a narrative arc. And lastly, we have presentation skills. The power of storytelling. We all have stories. We are all storytellers. We all have the capability to do storytelling. But what is the power of storytelling? A well-crafted story can make an ad pitch more engaging, memorable, and emotionally resonant. Discuss the elements of a good story. For example, does it have a clear beginning, a middle, and an end? Do they have relatable characters? Is there a central conflict, or is there a resolution? Creating a narrative arc. Discuss how to structure the pitch. So the pitch serves like the story. No? Is there a clear problem, which supposedly there must be? And what is the proposed solution of your company to that? And what is the expected outcome from the so-called proposed solution? So this serves as the narratives of the story. And for the last part, we have storytelling and presentation techniques. Advertising must definitely be visual. And if it is just mostly audio, then the customer, no, or the one who listens to the story must be able to visualize it at the top of their minds. Okay? So according to Xiao 2020, visual storytelling involves the use of graphics, images, pictures, and videos to engage with viewers in an effort to drive emotions, engage intercommunication, and motivate an audience to action. So those are important elements in the storytelling and the presentation techniques. Regarding presentation skills, provide tips for effective presentation delivery, including but not limited to: first, understanding your audience. Are you speaking to the right audience? Does your audience understand you? Number two is delivering a clear and concise message. The hallmark of an effective presentation is clarity. Your audience should understand your message without having to decipher complex jargon or navigate convoluted explanations. And in order to achieve this, articulate your ideas with precision and simplicity. Start by distilling your message down to its essence, focusing on the most important points you want to convey. and avoid the temptation to overload your information to the audience, opting instead for a concise and memorable delivery. For persuasion and influence, the usage of these in advertising and marketing is the practice of affecting, appealing in, and attempting to induce particular actions and behaviors of customers in order to be able to sell their products and services. The idea is to make someone, usually the audience or the receiver of the message, to change their minds, beliefs, and behavior and adapt to your message, which will be manifested by your presentation skills. This process can involve many different ways in which an individual or company attempts to persuade the target audience in the usage of the information, distributed by means of strategies and tools. Given the ways in which advertising serves as a marketing tool and socialization agent, the depth of breadth of persuasion and influence can only be understood when the intended and unintended effects of its outputs are examined in tandem. Then next we have the employing visuals to enhance the presentation. And it was already discussed a while ago with regards to the visual storytelling. And lastly is setting yourself apart. In competitive environments, the effective presentations helps you stand out from the crowd. Whether you're competing for funding, clients, or opportunities, a memorable pitch can differentiate you from your competitors and leave a lasting impression. The presentation is an opportunity to showcase your unique value proposition, highlight your strengths, and differentiate yourselves from others in the field. By delivering a compelling and memorable presentation, you increase your chances of being chosen over your competitors and winning the desired outcome. Here we have examples of two memorable ads. First is from Pepsi, the Come to Life ad. This advertisement uses the IV bag from a hospital setting as the main focus of their creative strategy. The objectives of this campaign is to engage with their target audience and engage the message that Pepsi essentially makes you feel alive. The target audience for this advertisement are young adults between 16 to 25 years old who are already loyal consumers. Before, this advertisement is merely just a reinforcement of the brand itself. However, the target audience will not find this advertisement entirely appealing as they will not be interested in the association between a hospital environment and the iconic soft drinks brand. According to Harun et al. 2014, the creative strategies in this situation does not have a very clear message from the visuals of its own, as it relies on the supportive tagline, come to life, to try and associate what the message is trying to achieve, therefore not clearly specifying the general nature of the advertisement. This type of advertisement will most likely be seen in a lifestyle or teenage magazine, which will be appropriate in terms of content and message it conveys. The next ad is the Fake Hurts Real advertisement by Adidas. It was done to counter the huge amounts of bootleggers that were copying their shoe models and brand trademarks of the three stripes over the years. This is just another ad from the Adidas website. Of course, the target audience is all the people who are looking for quality shoes made by Adidas. and also poses the dangers of wearing fake shoes. The ad is very effective as it plays with the fear of injury one will have when playing sports and the possibility that fake footwear will cause you injuries. And that is all for my brief presentation. Thank you very much for listening.